Hello and welcome back to this walkthrough of the KSP career in 1.0 onwards. My name is Negative Root. Let's get cracking today. We're going to be landing on the moon. I've got my little lander here ready to go and I'm orbiting Kerbin. I need to get out to the moon. So let's, I just wanted to show you again how to get an intercept with the moon, because I've seen some crazy shit over the last couple of days. I'll tell you what, we've been watching a few streams and yeah. Okay, that's how easy it is to get an intercept with the moon. Pretty straightforward, really, but let me break it down for you. Right, it's a simple Hohmann transfer, right? We're going to go from a smaller orbit to a bigger orbit. We just need to time it right, time the point at which we do the burn, okay, to get out there. And what we're going to do is we're going to go prograde, okay? We only need to increase the speed of our orbit. That's all we need to do. We don't need to go up, down otherwise, okay? You can see that Minmus is sitting up there, but the moon is perfectly equatorial, so if you launch into an equatorial orbit, which you know, you should be able to do pretty easily, you get to just pull on this pull on the prograde marker until it starts to run into it, and then you can start playing games with where exactly you want to go. Now this is a lander, so we're going to want to ooh, okay, that's not exactly where I want it. That's better. I want to get as close as I can. I like that. That looks good to me. Let's get around here. Now this has got 2.7 kilometers per second of delta V. This should be enough. Famous last words, I know, but we're not coming back. Okay, this little stage has no science gear on it. It's just going to land. That's it. We're going to achieve the goal, and that'll be it. So we've got a few minutes left to go until we hit the point at which we need to burn. So let's time warp a little bit. So we want to burn at approximately now. And here's the thing about interplanetary distances. If you miss it by 3 seconds, no one's going to care. It's close enough. Near enough is close enough. Because there's something about close, and that is it counts in horseshoes. What was it? Horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare. It also counts in, you know, transfers to the moon. Close enough is near enough. So we just keep burning until we get that intercept. Okay, there it is. We'll make a course correction about here. Right, so we're focused on the moon. We've got our maneuver dialed in over here. So now we can see what it's going to do. So we pull this way. What we want to do is we want to get this in as close as we can. Go this way. So that's by far giving us the greatest effect. 81,000. 23,000. I think, oh, wrong way. I think what we'll do is we'll go this way a little bit and back that off. Come in a little bit. 35,000. Okay, the lower we are, the better the O-berth effect. We can get it 10,000. Oh, that's a little bit close. What you can do is you can click the periapsis and then it'll stay up for you. Nearly there. That's what we want, 10,000. Okay, so we've got our maneuver dialed in. It's going to happen in 2 hours. So I'll add an alarm. You can do it different ways, but I want an alarm 1 minute before the fact so I can get out there. And what I'm going to do is jump back to the Space Center and show you my little moonlander. Now, the biggest thing with anything in space is you make it as small as possible. Reduce the weight. Give yourself as best an opportunity as you can. So what I have is just a modified moonshot first stage, and then I've got my moonlander. So it's basically, in effect, a 3-stage rocket, with the third stage doing barely any orbital work and most of the transfer and, well, all of the landing. So pretty simple. Hammer, solid boosters, decoupler, T45. We'll delete that. And I'll show you my little moonlander because I'm quite proud of it. Okay, it weighs 1.8 ton. It's tiny. And most of this is actually fuel weight. So if we get it down to 800 kilos without fuel. And that 800 kilos, right, 0.5 of that is the liquid engine. So what I've done here is, normally the engine sits there, and I had a bit of trouble getting the landing gear to actually work. You see here how the engine sticks out past the landing gear. That's important. Always check that if you can with your landers. Make sure that the engines aren't going to stick down past it. So I was tweaking with it, and I figured that this is probably the best way to do it. We can make it like a nice little low profile engine, low profile landing engine, and then we've got the thingies. We've got some batteries, and we've got some solar panels, and then we've got the probe core. Now I just want to point something out. I'm obviously not doing this manned because I don't have the part limit to actually get any Kerbals back. But currently I'm still playing with the 30 part limit because I haven't upgraded the VAB. You may have by this stage and might be able to do something more complicated, but I'm still playing with 30 parts. So this actually Moonlander was 30 parts, which was awesome. So the reason I picked this, the Spay Putnik is useless. It has no no reaction control and no SAS. The Octo does. It has reaction control and it has SAS. So these are the two big things that we need. So I've gone with that. Don't save that because I've completely destroyed the craft. Let's jump back to my Moonlander that is now on its, well, it's still on its way because that only took like 30 seconds. Fly, and we will get this thing landed. But I'll teach you how to land on an airless body. Okay, so we got that. We will jump forward in time. You can see how the deviation I made. The further back I make this change, the cheaper it is. Okay, the further you are away, the bigger your change will be. Excellent. So there is the alarm. Delete on close, close alarm. Excellent. Go away. So we need to get our maneuver. I just want to point in the general direction and off we go. Now I'll burn at low power just to get good accuracy here. I'll jump to the moon because this is going to show me what's happening. I'm doing the burn over here on the orbit with Kerbin, but the change is actually here at the moon. So the reason I'm sitting here is so that I can actually see what I'm doing. So we've got that. Now the reason I want to get in really, really close is because of something called the O-berth effect. Basically what that is, and just give you a moment, I'll just be able to tweak this a little bit more. You can change the thrust limit. Okay, if you're doing some really fine tuning work, okay, you can turn the thrust down. The O-berth effect says that when you're closer to the body, basically, no wait, let me get it right. The O-berth effect says that you will have a bigger effect the faster you're going. So therefore, when you're close to a planet, that's when you're going the quickest. So the closer you get, the more effect your engines have, basically. So that means that if you're transferring from, say, Kerbin to the Moon or to Minmus or to Duna, all the way out here or something, you want to start as close to Kerbin as you can because you get free delta V. That's what it boils down to. If you start at 100, you'll save fuel than if you started at 500 kilometers, that is, in altitude. So let's move forward, because what we're going to do at the periapsis, our closest point, is we're going to get that capture and get that landing set up. Okay, off we go. Here comes the Moonlander. Okay, so you can see currently, and I just need to take a quick screenshot for the thumbnail. Okay, there we go. So what we need to do is, oops, we're still time warping. That's why I can't control the damn craft. What I need to do now is I need to burn retrograde at this point. And that's in a minute, so what I want to do is just time warp a little bit more, come back to the craft. You can see that we're pretty low, but it's going to be okay. If you keep it above 10 kilometers, you'll be fine. The highest point on the Moon is something like 6 or 7 kilometers. Rightio, we're nearly there. We're going to have to chop off a whole heap of velocity, but that's okay, because we packed plenty of delta V. Let's, whoop, there it goes. So we're in orbit, right? That's all it took to get in orbit. And we'll get this orbit down to something like that. So we don't want that periapsis to drop too far. Alright, so there we go, we've got the orbit. Cost us about 300 delta V, which is fine. And what we're going to do now is we're going to set up our landing. Now what we want to do is we want to get the periapsis. Oops. Periapsis is already pretty close on this side of the planet. So I might have balls that up a little bit. And that's becoming the dark side, bugger. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is see if I can. Nope. See, I've actually come in too close here. Perhaps staying out at 50 or 30 kilometers would be better. I've come in too close. Because what I really want to do, and I will show you briefly, is I'll get this back to where it needs to be. It's going to put me under a bit of fuel pressure, but hopefully I'll be able to show you. Okay, here we go. I'll pick this back up to roughly a circular 50k orbit. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we're back to where we should have been to start with. Alright, so we're going to add a maneuver, and then what we're going to do is we're going to drop the periapsis to about 10,000 meters, and we'll just click on it so that we know where we're aiming. And we're going to put that over where we want to land. And we're going to put it a little bit before. So for example, this dirty grey big crater, I think that's a good thing to aim for. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the periapsis on the lip, because what we're going to do is we're going to get to this point and then we're going to burn again. And then that is actually going to, well, actually I'll show you. We'll burn again. Okay, there. And then that's going to get us our intercept. Right, so we're going to come around. Okay, at this point we'd normally continue on and go back up to the same point, but we're going to actually land from there. And this is just to get us in the spot so that we can do a nice landing. So let's go over to the maneuver node. We will delete that one, because that one's going to be no help to us at all, surely. Warp to it. Oh, and you can see, dang thing's moved. Planets are funny like that. Okay. Apologies, we had a few technical difficulties there, but we're back. Now this costs nothing in terms of delta V. We can actually burn here. It's really, because the moon isn't that strong in terms of gravity, we can get away with a few things. 20,000. We need to go to 10. 10. Well, that's a little bit far, but that's okay. Now you can see that we're going to have a good separation. So let's jump back to our little craft. I've lost the moon. There it is. And we're going to warp around the planet. So what's going to happen is we're going to get lower and lower until we get to the point where we stop getting lower and then start to come back up again. And that lowest point in the orbit, the periapsis, that's where we want to start our landing phase. Okay, so we're nearly there. There's always time for a good selfie. Let's go. We're coming in steadily. Got a couple of minutes till periapsis. There's another good photo op. It's all about screenshots, you know. Make sure you take screenshots as well, because it's always nice to share these missions with other interested Kerbal Space Program players. The Reddit is quite strong, that kind of thing. Oh, we've still got ages. Let's get a move on here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to land. So what we need to do first is break orbit. Now we're at the periapsis. Okay, we're going to start to rise again. So we need to break orbit. That just means burning, retrograde, and there we go, we broke orbit. Pretty simple really. Now we can see where our projected orbit is going. So we'll just bring that back a little bit. Okay. Now the thing about airless bodies is that you must kill all this velocity. Okay, all this must be burned. Now this Kerbal Engineer does actually give me a suicide burn count. So that's a suicide burn is the most efficient way of landing. But I'm going to show you the foolproof never crash method of landing. So what we're going to do is basically the reverse of a gravity turn. Instead of following the prograde marker up and into an orbit, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to follow the retrograde marker down to the planet. So what this retrograde marker means is that is the opposite direction to which we are traveling. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to try and push it up the nav ball. You see how I've got it, so the horizon is left to right. Okay, it's not crazy like this. Okay, if it's crazy like this, you're going to have all kinds of problems flipping in your brain. So we're going to get it left to right like this, and basically all we're going to do is just push this up the screen. So I'm going to wait a little bit more until we get a little bit closer. One thing we could do is get the landing gear armed. Okay, we'll get a little bit closer. Alright, so basically the time at which you start the landing phase is when you start to panic. And you think, oh, I'm a bit close here. So basically we just power up and we're going to push this up the nav ball. So you see how I'm just keeping it below there. We can probably go a little bit harder. You will slow down very quickly though. Your thruster weight will be extremely high. And you see how it's getting away? I can stop. Just let it naturalize a little bit. You can see that I've got about a kilometer to go until I hit the ground. So I'll hit the landing gear right now. I'll deploy it. Oh yes, that's the thing right there. Okay, so I can have a maximum thruster weight of roughly 36. Okay, so now what I've done is I've got that straight over there. Okay, and I'm just going to slow down a little bit more. Slow down, slow down. This is getting a little bit quick for me. And basically, I want to keep this retrograde marker on top of the thing. Now, I can just keep burning, reducing that speed and slowly float down. Okay, I've got 200 meters left to go and 800 delta V, so I'm going to have tons of fuel to get this done. Now, you'll notice here that the horizontal speed is low. That's what I want. I want to be landing vertically. If you come in horizontally, you'll end up in trouble and crash, or flip it, which is normally what happens with Kerbal landings. And see, I've got my shadow now, so that can guide me in. Now if you do multiple of these, you can start to learn what thrust to weight you actually need on your craft. Okay, we want to touch down nice and softly. We're actually on a hill a little bit. Oh, and I tipped it. Oh well, I landed. as I said, the purpose of this mission was to land, which we did. So mission success, happy days. The hill, really not good. Let's take our science, let's take our money, our spaceos, and run. So if I was smart, what I would have done was just fired up. The engine's gone over here and landed instead. But while I'm here and while I'm flipped over, I'll show you how to recover one of these. So basically I put my landing gear away. Oh, let's see if we can turn it around. Basically I want my pod facing the other way. I don't want it facing this way. There we go, I'm starting to get into the move it. And come on, flip, roll, do something. Nope, don't go that way. Don't go that way. I think this can take a little bit of finesse. I'm rolling. This is not good. Okay, but I'm in the right way. Once you got your engines pointed down the hill, you're in a better spot. There's many different strategies. You can try tweaking these a little bit. Oh, I'm upside down. It's breakdancing. It's a thing. Or you can just blast off. Because you have such high thrust to weight, so it's quite easy. And then it's just a matter of landing again. So find that retrograde marker. There it is. Right, we'll get ourselves orientated. Nicely. Oh. Okay, so I'm pretty much coming down vertically now. And we can try that landing again. Now, I want to keep that horizontal speed as low as I can. We've only got 300 meters to go, so that's excellent. Okay. Now what I've just done is I've just turned on the thrust limiter so that I can get a little bit more control. You can see now I'm falling really, really gently, and that gives me a chance to keep the retrograde marker from running away. Oh. Okay, let's see if I can do it without crashing this time. Oh yeah, that's what's up. So there is a moon landing, so thank you very much for joining me. In the next episode, I have no idea what we're doing, so you'll have to tune back in and find out. If there's something you'd like me to tackle, a mission or something, be sure to send it through. I'm happy to have a crack at it and add it to the walkthrough. Until next time though, thank you for joining me.